As we see increasing optimism and hopium in the market, U.S. lawmakers are looking to implement something called the Clarity Act. What is that? Welcome back, everyone. I know a lot of us are feeling pretty optimistic with what's going on in the markets right now, and we're coming close to the holiday, quote unquote, holiday season. So, people are getting festive. You know who's also getting festive? The U.S. lawmakers. So this is kind of this actually goes full circle because we reported on Tether back in September, and now this I think confirms what we were saying in that previous clip. Let's dive into it. U.S. lawmakers introduced Clarity Act to limit federal ties with Chinese blockchain. Very interesting what we're starting to see develop here. The U.S. representatives Zach Nunn and Abigail Spangberger have jointly introduced the Creating Legal Accountability for Rogue Innovators and Technology Act, Clarity Act. The legislation aims to prohibit federal government officials from conducting business with Chinese blockchain companies. It would explicitly forbid U.S. government officials from engaging in transactions with IFINX, the parent company of USDT issuer Tether. In addition to IFINX, the Clarity Act would prohibit officials from conducting transactions with the Spartan Network, the Conflux Network, and Red Date Technologies, which we actually talked about Red Date Technologies last week. That's one of the companies that is offering the infrastructures for, that I should say, offering the infrastructure for a CBDC. If the Clarity Act is passed, it would ensure the nation's foreign adversaries do not have a back door to access critical national security intelligence and Americans' private information. Okay, so think about what I'm saying here, right? You've got these networks, right? The Spartan Network, the Conflux Network, Red Date Technologies. Okay, so you've got these companies that are being perceived, right, as national security threats. Okay, but also at the same time, what was Tether doing back in September? Think about that, right? Perception is reality. Don't worry, I'm not just going to leave you hanging. I'm going to explain what Tether was doing back in September, but anyways, we're going to finish this up. Tether was reported to have been exposed to Chinese securities and other Chinese firms earlier this year. On June 16th, several news sources, including Bloomberg, disclosed that the company previously had securities from Chinese state-owned firms. Tether reserves encompassed substantial short-term loans to Chinese firms and a significant loan to the cryptocurrency platform Celsius Network. Tether had previously denied any involvement with the debt of China's troubled Evergrande Group, but had not revealed its holdings of other Chinese securities. In September, a report suggested that the company secretly began offering USDT stablecoin loans to customers a year after Tether Holdings pledged to cease providing secured loans. Okay. So, the Clarity Act, right? They want to make sure the government officials aren't dealing with companies that have ties to Chinese-backed blockchains. Now, let's go back. What did Tether start doing, or what was reported back in September about Tether's activities? Tether's Arduino says it's now a top buyer of U.S. Treasury bills and holds $72.5 billion worth. That's right. The amount of exposure places Tether in the top 22 biggest holders of U.S. Treasury bills, ranking above countries like Spain, Mexico, Australia, and the United Arab Emirates. Now it all makes sense. Okay. Tether understands that they can't escape the eye of the U.S. government forever. Okay. And let's be honest. I think that there's a lot of people, especially people who the Tether truthers, right? The people that believe that if Tether collapses, Bitcoin collapses because Bitcoin price only goes up when Tether gets printed, even though that makes no sense at all. Oh, God bless their hearts. But the reality is, right? The reality is that Tether is in a very interesting position. Okay, and they in my eyes, are playing 4D chess. So they understood that they are under the eye of the US government. Okay. So what they started to do was purchase a lot of treasury bills. And this is exactly what I said in the previous clip that I did, which I will link in this clip. It's pay to play. That's all it is. So look, they may introduce this Clarity Act, but again, what oftentimes when these type of regulations get introduced, it's not about actually stopping any kind of undesired behavior. What it is about creating a model, a framework. Okay, so people know what information and what steps they have to take to provide in order to pay to play. That's all it is. That's all it is. But look, I gotta say, Tether. You know what? Tether's doing a great job of playing this 4D chess. I think it was the right thing for them to do. Start accumulating U.S. Treasury bills. And the last piece of this is the idea of Tether going away. I know that everybody wants to FUD Tether, and going back to the comment that I made before about the ridiculous FUD that Bitcoin price only goes up when Tether gets printed. Look, Tether just gets used as a medium not to go back into cash. Okay, so the reality is, I know that people, I know that some people want to believe because they for whatever reason they didn't accumulate enough Bitcoin, or they're just sour, so they started buying a whole bunch of shit coins and they're getting wrecked, and so they want to believe, right, that Bitcoin is just going to disappear because of Tether. But what people don't realize is that Bitcoin existed without Tether to begin with. Okay, it doesn't actually need Tether. Any stable coin can play that part. It doesn't matter. So indeed, God forbid, right, Tether would somehow collapse. There most likely would be a temporary price fluctuation. Same type of thing would happen in any traditional market, right? People get scared. The market is filled with market participants, and many of those participants have emotions. So yeah, temporarily, I believe we would see most likely more desirable lower Bitcoin prices so that you could stack harder. But in the long run, it doesn't make a difference. Another stable coin would simply fill that vacuum. Anyways, guys, it's good. It's good to see that this has come full circle. Now we understand, or at least now we can confirm what Tether has been doing all along. Okay, and they've essentially been buying in to the good graces, or at least I believe they've been buying into the good graces of the US government. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think. Put it in the comments. Like and subscribe. I'm going to catch you guys all next week.